All right, hello and welcome to the Steve and J SportsCast. This is Season 2, Episode 1. All right, hello and welcome to the Steve and J SportsCast. I am DJ Chef Steve, alongside with the amazing Jay. How you doing, Jay? How was your month off from Season 1?
Felt like forever since the last time we've done this. I mean,
I know.
We go all those months with doing all these different episodes, and all of a sudden we take a nice little break.
I know, and then it feels like the first time.
It does. But everything's good.
How did your tournament go?
It went pretty well. We got 11 teams in there. Very, very competitive for a whole weekend. The championship game was at the Basketball Hall of Fame a couple Saturdays ago, actually.
That's awesome. How was that there? How was it?
It was good until the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The usual things with referees.
Damn refs.
Yeah.
You never get
supposedly making mistakes, and the team's not liking it, and people getting technical fouls because they just won't let it go. And
yeah.
But other than that, shout out to the Willimantic squad.
Yeah, congratulations.
They are the champions. Us being the defending champs of my tournament, we lost. We looked horrible.
How was that? Not being able to go and not to rub it in or anything.
It was horrible. I mean, we played against a very good team. Shout out to Darius Watson, Pete Skeevy, and Danny DeJesus.
Yeah.
They just shot after shot after shot, and they just could not miss at all.
Damn.
It was bad.
I'm the opposite way around.
Yeah. But you know what? There's next year.
Year.
That means new recruiting for me for next year.
You got to remake your whole
maybe
team.
I can pick up some of these people that will be our guests, and maybe we'll be all right.
Yeah, maybe like the one we have right now.
Yeah, why not?
Which is our first guest of Season 2 is Mike Boornazian. If I didn't butcher it.
Yeah, you got it. You got it right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks
Appreciate
for coming
it.
on. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started getting into basketball and where you are today.
Yeah, so basically it was pretty simple. I mean, growing up, I grew up in Portland, Connecticut, and was always a basketball guy, always a baseball guy. I was just shooting around in the driveway a lot. Actually, there was a school league I went to a private school in Middletown, and there was a school league, and I just started out playing in the church league. Before you know it, ended up going over to the Middletown YMCA, where there was a lot of good talent back then. And I was always the young kid that couldn't really get on the court, so it was just something to strive for, because all these high school, college guys were out there doing their thing. I was just a little, 6th, 7th grader trying to find my way. You spend enough time around those guys, and the rest is history.
Definitely had that same scenario, living in Manchester back in high school.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to pick their favorites, and you're just like, am I going to get to play today? Am I not going to get to play today?
Yeah. So then after high school, you went to Bates College.
Yep.
Right. Now tell us about that. How was that experience like playing for them? And
it was awesome. I would recommend Bates College to anybody. Obviously, the NESCAC is one of the most respected Division III conferences in the country.
Right.
Because of the academic rigor on top of the athletic ability of a lot of the athletes that are in the conference. They get a lot of the Ivy League kids that maybe just were a hair away from the grades, or just maybe one step too slow to play at the Ivy League. But a lot of Division I athletes nonetheless fall to Division III in the NESCAC.
Right.
And then playing at Bates in particular was amazing because we had a historic season in my junior year where we went to the Sweet 16, most wins in school history, which was awesome. Coach John Furbush, who I've developed a spectacular relationship with over the course of my 4 years there. He was not only the man, such an understanding guy. He actually also got the job when he was, I want to say, 24. After he did a grad assistant thing at Springfield. He was the youngest head coach in America at the time for all 3 levels.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. And so I went on my visit, and I felt like I was hanging out with my boy. I was like, this is cool, And so we had really hit it off. But we always had that that level of respect, you know, where
Yeah.
we were real tight and joked around, but in practice, like, you know, it was business. And I would say that was a huge reason of why. And yeah, I met some of the best teammates I've had. It was great.
How was it like to go to the Sweet 16 for you? What was the atmosphere like when you played that games and knocked off teams? Or
Yeah, it was crazy. About midway through the season, we had a game against Tufts, who was always top 25 powerhouse. They got a lot of good players. And I remember they came into our gym, and we just waxed them. Like, we were up like 30, and it was at the point where I was just like, geez, these guys are good. And like we were killing. And then like one of my teammates had like the craziest play midway through the second half, where he just took off from outside the block and just one hand tomahawked on this kid, and the whole gym shut down. And I remember at that point, I thought to myself, this was like mid-January. I remember at this point, I thought to myself, okay, like we might have something this year.
Yeah.
And we ended up going. We got knocked out in the first round of the conference tournament to Wesleyan, which was real unfortunate. But we still practiced for the whole week. It was a real suspenseful week because we weren't sure if we were going to get in that large bid or not. So we still kept working hard. Coach Furbush had us good to go, and we watched the selection show as a team in the locker room. And we had just gotten a brand new locker room that year, which was pretty cool.
That is,
so we were just hanging out in there watching the selection show, and they called our name, and we were all real fired up. It was historic, a crazy moment. And we ended up going to Stockton, New Jersey to play St. Vincent, who had been there 3 years in a row, and then ultimately Stockton, who was ranked number 16 in the country. So we knew we had 2 games cut out for us, and we waxed St. Vincent. And then the next day we played Stockton, who was very good, but we ended up beating them too. Same game, I scored my 1,000th, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we ended up going to play Trinity, another NESCAC rival, at Babson the following week. And I've never seen a crowd like this. Like, you literally was standing room only. We had like 10 buses. Probably I would say 90% of the base population went to the game. Like, it was unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately we ended up losing there to Trinity, who they deserved it. But it was like nothing. I'll remember that for the rest of my life.
That's awesome. Atmospheres create games too, and memories. It's awesome playing in front of a good crowd.
Now, did they let you keep the ball since you scored your 1,000th point, or no?
No, because when I was I wouldn't be surprised if they deflated it, because we were on the road, and it was actually my 1,000th was a free throw. I got fouled on a 3 with like a minute left, and that was the 3 free throws that sealed the game. And that was also my 1,000th point. So then I think they probably disposed of that ball immediately. They never let me see it again.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So tell us about some other players that you came across that you know some of us might know that you've played with.
Yeah. So good friend of mine, Andre Drummond, who I've gotten, like, our AAU team back when I was finishing up at Xavier and going into my prep school year, it was guys like Andre Drummond from the Detroit Pistons, Chris Dunn, who was just recently drafted. Like, we had a pretty good team. So fortunately for me, being friends with guys like that, Dre and I went out to California going into my sophomore year to work on our game, typical stuff. Yeah. And we ended up finding this place called Open Gym Premier, where supposedly, a bunch of good NBA guys came through, and I was like, oh, like, this would be pretty cool. Like, Dre, it's the end of Dre's, like, I think that was the end of his first year at the time. We were like, sure, we'll check it out. And I remember the first day I'm warming up, and I'm over here, like, I just got done with my freshman year in the NESCAC. Yeah. And, like, I thought we had a pretty good year or whatever, and I'm, like, warming up, and, like, Klay Thompson rolls in, Kevin Love rolls in, Chandler Parsons rolls in, and I'm just like, oh man, like, I better lace these things up extra tight today. So those were some pretty cool experiences.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, Dre's been such a great guy and such a good friend of mine, and one of the people that really did not let money change him at all.
That's good.
Stayed a really good, humble guy, and luckily I got to meet guys like that through him. And
then you have this picture right here that's up here.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Where was that taken?
That was actually done at a photo shoot in the Middletown Press. That was probably a few days after he committed to UConn. Okay. And I committed to Wilbraham and Munson, because we were originally supposed to go together. Me, Dre, and Chris Dunn were supposed to, all three of us, go to Wilbraham and Munson. Yeah. But then Dre decided to go to UConn, and then Chris decided to ultimately go to Providence instead. Yeah. So that was like a little interview that they did a few days after he had committed, I believe. But that was pretty cool too. That was a fun day.
That's pretty sweet. Like just being able to like go in a gym with all those guys, and that's pretty surreal.
Yeah, it was one of the first times that I was like, damn, I'm the worst player on the court right now.
Yeah. So then tell us about what's in your future. What are you looking forward to, or what are you looking for with basketball, or are you?
I think unfortunately due to a couple different injuries, I think that my Bates experience basketball wise was amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm content with hanging them up. I'm sure you'll still see me playing in the Hartford Pro-Am once I get my foot fixed and things like that. I'll still be around, but I don't think overseas is going to be a thing anymore. I've been pursuing a bunch of different options in the field of media, looking into some TV production companies in New York City, the Boston area. So we'll see what happens there. I'm also, in the meantime, me and a good buddy of mine, Tom Doyle, who was an All-Stater from Notre Dame, West Haven. We've been working hand in hand with Coach Joe Shea from Notre Dame with Connecticut Basketball Academy. So we've been doing a lot of like individual lessons. We have a website if anyone's interested in checking that out. It's ctbballacademy.com. And we're also doing fall sessions. We're fortunate to get the New Haven Athletic Center. So in the fall, every Sunday from 3:30 to 5:30, we're going to have the age group of younger kids, and then from 5:30 to 7:30, we're going to have the older high school kids who are looking to tune up their games right before the high school season. So we're hoping to get out, and if you like anyone who's interested and wants to check that out,
definitely
we'll put it in the description below so you can check it out.
Awesome,
that'll
appreciate
be awesome.
that,
Yeah. And then so now, did you look into NBA at all? Did you look into going into that after school before your injury? Or was there any experience with that?
So it was mostly overseas. I had some looks. I know the Maine Red Claws were 40 minutes from my school.
Yeah.
So, and I had some friends that worked in the system that knew of my game. That they had put me on some watch lists, some recruiting lists. I had gotten invited to an open tryout in the fall to go out there, but I couldn't go because of NCAA rules. You're technically not allowed to participate with any third parties before you graduate.
Right.
So if I were to go, it would be now. And then after I got some interest for the overseas things, as soon as my foot got busted, that kind of really put a little damper on things. And like I said, I was content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome.
NBA probably would have been a little bit of a reach, but in terms of playing professionally, I definitely think it could have happened. But I was happy with everything, and my Bates career was great. So.
Yeah.
What about coaching-wise? Have you ever thought about doing that, even with just doing the clinics right now?
You see, I think I'd be one of those motivational speaker coaches, because anyone who's watched me play knows my game's a little too reckless for me to tell people X's and O's. I was always the kid that my coach would go, Mike, no. And then I would just shoot it anyway, and it would go in sometimes, and he would go, okay, whatever, he'd live with it, So I mean, so for me, my point guard when I was a junior, kid Graham Safford, one of the best basketball minds I've ever seen in my life. I was like, geez, you see, you got the talent and you play the right way, and you got the great basketball mind that could be a coach. I was like, with me, it's I can get people fired up, like in my captain year, I was able to do that. But in terms of drawing up plays, I'd be like, all right, you're going to take 3 dribbles over half and pull up in 30. So that's I don't know if that'd work out as well, but
yeah, hey, never know. The coaching, that'd be kind of cool. I mean,
there's some systems maybe it would work in, but I don't know. No, I'm more passionate towards my major at Bates, which was English and media, so that's more my thing. I love the game of basketball, but I think that's where I'd want to probably go.
No, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so now, do you and Andre still keep in contact now today?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We talk. I actually just FaceTimed him about 20 minutes before I got out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you usually go and check him out when he comes for the charity game down at Mohegan Sun?
Oh yeah, we usually go out there for the weekend. It's a lot of fun when he comes down for that. Actually, I was in Boston about a month ago at my girlfriend's house, and got a text at midnight where he was like, check your email, and I just checked my email, and I had a flight booked, and he was just like, hey man, come out to the game when we played the Cavs. It was the first round series against the Cavs, and so he flew me out because we were on break that week. So I went out for the game. I think
That's
it was
awesome.
game 3 or game 4 against the Cavs, which was pretty cool. So I got to see LeBron for the first time in person. He knows I'm a huge LeBron fan, which gets him real aggravated. But
that's great.
Yeah.
That means he's got to somehow hook you up in the near future.
Yeah, exactly.
At least one visit.
Exactly, right? That's what I'm saying. But yeah, no, but it was pretty cool. Like, yeah, he's a great friend to have, real good guy.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check my email after this show.
Yeah, right. Let's see if something got forwarded over.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move along, talk about some sports. I want your opinion on certain things.
Absolutely.
You want to go ahead and kick it off?
Yeah. So, your opinion to start off will be KD leaving Oklahoma City to go to the Warriors to create this super team.
Yeah.
Oh. Honestly, one of the softest moves I've ever seen. What I want to say.
That's two.
What I do want to say is, I don't want to fully commit to that answer because of the fact that I understand, like, especially from knowing Dre and all these guys, they're people, you know.
Right.
A lot of times
absolutely.
we forget that these guys have lives.
Absolutely.
Who knows what his family situation is? Maybe his mother's always wanted to live in Cali. Like, we don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was thinking maybe he did this for more than that.
Yeah,
On paper, from a basketball
Yeah.
perspective, leaving the team that you should have at least gotten to the finals
Yeah.
with this year
Right.
to go to the team that beat you is a little. I don't know if I'm okay with that, but
And you really can't say money-wise because he's only getting $54 million for 2 years with the Warriors. And I forget what the breakdown was if he stayed with OKC, but it was going to be leading into at least like the $200 million
right,
in the near future.
right.
Yeah, and then that's just not crazy. I mean, hey, who knows? But when you put all these people on a team, sometimes it's not always the best thing.
That's
You
what
know,
I was saying too. They're three of the same position essentially.
Yeah.
It's not like you have a Bosch, a Wade, and
Right.
a LeBron, or like a KG, a Rondo, and a Ray Allen, or a
Right.
Pierce and Allen. Like, they're different positions. Like, these guys are three scorers.
Yeah.
So how is that going to? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it might get sloppy.
It could.
And
It
now
could,
it's
it
just
could
like
go either way, but
now you got everybody wanting to play with him.
Yeah.
You got David West who's going over there. You have supposedly, I haven't seen it from ESPN, but there's all these other websites that are saying Ray Allen's definitely signed
I was just gonna
for
say.
1 year. Cool.
but then what are you gonna do with everybody?
Then you get Allen Iverson. You tell him to come back too,
Right.
and you get a dream.
Right. I mean, you have stuff of even these other players that haven't even
It's a Hall of
played
Fame game.
in
Yeah.
so many years, and now all of a sudden they want to
Yeah.
try out for the Warriors just to continue this super team.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't wait to see him go out there and play because I just want to see what will actually happen.
I just think the whole NBA is obviously going to be different.
The whole thing
I
is.
hope it's going to be exciting in a way. I think it'll be more exciting in the Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference, especially with the Celtics and Horford.
Yeah.
And now like the next one we'll be talking about D Wade's going to Chicago.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have him, Jimmy Butler, and Rondo playing together. They're trying to get Rudy Gay.
Yeah.
I mean, they get him. I mean, that they're still contenders. I mean, they're not gonna make it to the finals, but at least you get in 8, maybe that 7th seed. Come the playoff time and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
I know. What's your opinion on Wade leaving?
I'm I've had a lot of respect for Dwayne Wade, and
Yeah.
he's been like obviously a favorite of mine. I mean, who hasn't loved the guy since he's been with the Heat, you know? Yeah, exactly, precisely.
It hasn't been burnt yet.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, in terms of him leaving, I think they kind of disrespected him in Miami.
I completely agree.
I don't blame him for leaving.
completely
I mean, I
agree.
feel like would the Yankees do that to Jeter?
Right.
Would the Lakers do that to Kobe?
Kobe.
Granted, he had the career that Kobe has, no one has.
Right, but
Team
team-wise,
in terms of what he means to that
yeah,
city,
yeah, right.
yeah.
I completely agree. I don't know. I just couldn't believe they did that.
Mm-hmm.
I think is why I'm more surprised. I'm more surprised that the team did that than he leaving.
Right.
You know.
I agree. I wish he would have. I know he's from Chicago. Cool.
Yeah.
If he had gone to the Knicks, that would have been something to see him
Yeah.
hand in hand with D Rose. I feel like
Yeah.
that could have been. Knicks could have had a super team. I wish KD at least considered them or the C's because I think that could have been awesome.
Right.
Almost anyone else. Nothing.
Literally anyone
Because
else.
now for the C's, they got one big man, but it's like now,
Yeah.
who's going to be next?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it can't. Sullinger just left. He just signed a
Toronto, right?
$1.6 million deal with the Raptors, and
Right.
I mean, it's got to be more than just Isaiah Thomas and Horford.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the C's are one guy away, I think, from really, because Brad Stevens, I mean, if he gets the right talent.
Right,
you know.
and he's done a phenomenal job
Yeah.
bringing
Oh,
them
yeah.
from
He
where they
really
were to
has.
now.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
hopefully they can make it further in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
And then Tim Duncan retired officially
Yes, he did.
today. He's
Mhm.
now done.
Phenomenal career, top 10
Phenomenal.
player in the NBA they put on there today.
Yeah.
Guy's
I
a
know.
stud.
So yeah. So now, what's your prediction on, like, if a power ranking number one team for next year, as it stands?
You know, Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think that if
Is that because you're a LeBron fan?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to. You
clear it up.
can't. You can't deny the talent. Obviously, the Warriors. You have Clay, Steph.
Right, but it's not always about it.
No, exactly.
It's not. It's about a team.
Exactly. And I also think that the Knicks can do whatever. My thought is that, as big of a LeBron fan as I am, this past year I said the Warriors were the number one because I don't think you can take the number one ranking out of the champion's hand until it's proven otherwise.
Right.
That's my
Absolutely.
personal
Yeah.
opinion.
And especially
now.
their season last
Right.
year, and yeah.
Exactly, like 73-9, and then you
Yeah.
just went and got arguably the best scorer in the world. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, what are you gonna?
Yep.
And now even, if the trade goes through, a 2-for-1 trade to Sacramento, you got Cousins and I don't even know how to pronounce.
Macklemore.
Yeah,
Ben
Macklemore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's up for grabs next year, especially if they make the East stronger. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
you could tell Steph and those guys were fatigued by the end of the year.
And
You
you,
could
and
see
you
it.
blame them because
No.
I mean, like, that's like it's not always good to win all those games.
Look what happened to the Patriots.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember that year clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
2007.
Right.
I remember the whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not good to win sometimes
I guess not.
as
Yeah.
much. You get tired. Your starters, they get burnt out. And they get all the pressure on keeping the record going.
Mm-hmm.
That once the playoffs come, it's kind of a little too much sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. But and then Draymond Green, he
Arrested.
got arrested with
Altercation with somebody in a restaurant.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I wonder what they
But it
said.
was only a $200 bond.
yeah $200 bond
Of all amount of money for anybody, $200 for him. But he still has to appear in court.
Yeah.
He still could face some jail time, which I don't think will happen because he's an NBA player.
Realistically.
Yeah.
And he's just going to pay whatever the other fine was. And that'll be it. And he'll get
Yeah.
suspended for, 5 games max?
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
If that.
Give Dr. Dre a quick call, tell him beats the handle.
Yeah.
Right? He'll be fine. He'll be off the hook in no time.
Yeah.
Jeez, I wonder what happened there. Hopefully we get some more details.
I know. I'm kind of curious on the story. There's two men, I guess.
Yeah. We'll definitely
But-
keep you all in the loop. We know.
Yeah.
It'll be coming up after the court date and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, talking about court dates and big money,
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
biggest.
The salary cap this year is just crazy.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's it. I'm playing basketball.
But hey, for Andre, he gets to stay with Detroit. He got a good contract.
Good for him.
Definitely.
I'm happy for him. I think he deserves it. I think that you paid Dellavedova 38, and now I'm
Right.
starting to wonder.
and Dellavedova's a bench player.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't play in the finals. He didn't even see the court.
No, he makes me feel like I could have a chance to make it to the NBA.
That's what I was saying. I was like, geez, I better get back in the gym. I can't work out. You know what I mean? Give me 1 year.
You
and
don't
I'll
even
be
got
out.
I mean,
you don't even have to pay me that much.
I mean, to me, that seems like having Scalabrine come out of retirement and giving him like a 4-year contract for $53 million somewhere.
Yeah, now I don't blame Ray Allen thinking about coming out.
No, it's just some pocket
No.
change, right?
Hey,
He'll be all right.
2 years, he stayed in shape.
Yeah.
If you stay following him, on Instagram and Facebook and all that, I mean, dude's running several miles every single day.
Yeah. I don't even run several miles in my lifetime.
No.
Good for Ray. He's a worker.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's a
He's a
good guy
worker.
too. And then another little thing in sports news: UFC was sold to WWE, bought them for $4 billion.
Money.
Money.
$4
Maybe
billion.
their salary cap went up too. Maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
$4 billion, huh?
$4 billion.
Jeez.
And now
And UFC started at $2 million.
$2 million. They bought it. The brothers that bought it before them bought it for $2 million.
Yeah.
And made it to $4 billion. Now, it's curious to see what happens if WB is actually in control of running the shows and stuff, and see if they actually run it into the ground or not. Because they're not.
I hope not.
No?
I don't think it'll be like the football league that they ran into the ground.
No.
UFC is already have their fans and people involved in it.
Right.
And I think
it's not created by them. Yeah.
Right. So I think it'll be enough to make everything continue.
Because in the past, Vince McMahon bought and created the XFL, if you remember, the Extreme Football League. There's no rules and whatever.
Of course.
And right before he did that, Shane McMahon said, "Hey, there's this cool thing coming up. It's UFC. We should do it." And his dad was like, "No, it's stupid. It's never gonna make it. Mixed martial arts isn't popular." And now they're throwing out $4 billion.
$4 billion. Wow.
And they still buy it in the end. It's just crazy.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Lesnar can now go back and forth.
Yeah.
So.
And literally, and that's as soon as I saw that they allowed Brock Lesnar to go and do that, and he's under contract with WWE, I'm like, there's got to be something in there for them, because Vince doesn't allow his people to go make money for other people.
Right.
It's got to come back to him somehow. But
that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see how that turns out.
I'm really curious if they're going to change anything. If they're going to try to make it more of a show.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I was thinking. Maybe The Rock comes off the movie screen and maybe makes a little return,
You never know. And it's interesting, too, because I was talking with him before. CM Punk, if you're familiar at all, left WWE very upset at Vince McMahon in real life, like all reality. And he's been training for UFC to fight. And he hasn't fought yet, but now WWE owns it.
Right.
So now I'm really curious how that storyline is going to go down. And
there might be some drama there.
Yeah.
For sure. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, that'll be really kind of cool.
He'll just go to TNA next.
Yeah. But, yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me,
Yeah,
guys.
really
It's been
appreciate
awesome.
it. It was awesome. Good, like the stories and everything.
Yeah, no, it's been great.
Can't beat it. Well, thank you. And that was the first episode of Season 2 of the Steve and Jay SportsCast.